Well, those tickets are available at the merchandise table right here at the entrance to the rink. Our teams are getting warmed up and ready to take the track, so let's talk about who is skating today. We will start with the team in red. This is the Happy Valley Hellbenders. If we can get their attention over there, we'd like to go ahead and introduce the skaters. They're having their sweet old memories over there going on. So I guess we'll let's go ahead and go through with the names here, and he'll hear us eventually. There we go. There we go. All right. So once again, starting with the team in red, this is the Happy Valley Hellbenders. Skating for the Hellbenders today, we have number 04, Hell on Wheels. Wearing number 11, Spunky Bruiser. We've got number 111, Ace. Wearing number 1117, By Furious. Scar alumni number 2, Zora. Wearing number 1217, Nancy Drew Blood. We've got number 13, Dental Jam. Wearing number 21, Hustler. Wearing number 26, Scar Child. We've got number 325, Chainsaws. Wearing number 7, Crystal Brawler. Number 9, Pitbull Dozer. And your captain today of the Hellbenders, number 44, Craven Equality. Give it up for our team in red, the Happy Valley Hellbenders, here to take on, of course, the team in green. This is your Mount Nittany Nightmares. Okay, they're actually wearing black with green text. It is green on the scoreboard, so we're going to head and call them black, green, whatever we got here. Okay, we have number 13, Kitty Black. We're at number 15, Grateful Shred. We've got number 17, Slam Andrea's Fall. We're at number 25, Chemical Restraint. Next up, number 379, Thunderbottom. Number 40, Zoflake. We're at number 42, Circuit. Number 5150, Gnarly Quinn. We're at number 525, Lasagna. Number 79, L'Assassin. And we're at number 22, Swifty. Working the bench today for the Mountain Nightmares is Sharkbait. We do have an A1 team of officials here making sure that today's game has the best refereeing and officiating possible. So join me in saying thank you to Dash, Filet Official, General Relativity, Trampling by a Strong Female Antagonist, Tempest, and Draft. Those are our skating officials. We've also got a lot of non-skating officials here. We'll give a shout out to them here in just a moment because we are moving into our first jam of the game. Hey, if this is your first time seeing Derby, we'll keep you up to speed on everything that's going on because this is going to be some hard-hitting, fast-paced action. We are going to have two 30-minute halves of the game separated by a 15-minute halftime. To start the game, each team sends 5 skaters out on the track. 1 skater from each team lines up behind the pack. They are wearing stars on their helmets. We call those the jammers, and they are the ones who score points. Out to jam for the Nightmares, number 40. This is Zoflake. Spunky Bruiser with the jammer star for the Hellbenders, and Spunky Bruiser is our lead jammer. When those jammers hear that whistle, they have to fight their way through the pack. The first ever to make their way through the pack legally and inbound. Here's 2 whistles. That means they are the lead jammer. Once those jammers complete that initial pass, they will score 1 point for each opposing team blocker that they pass. Brief timeout here called by our officials. We'll get back to the game here in just a moment. Looks like that's going to be a 2-point jam for the Nittany Nightmares and 4 points scored by the Happy Valley Hellbenders. That whistle brings us to the end of the timeout. The next jam has not started yet. The next whistle we hear will start the second jam of the game. Out to jam for the Hellbenders. This is number 325, Chainsaws, taking on number 42, Circuit. It's a Happy Valley Hellbenders with Chainsaws in control. 2 leads back-to-back now. Chainsaws coming in the pack. Black team is taking their wall across the back of the pack, holding up Chainsaws. L'assassin taking Chainsaws out of bounds to the outside. Chainsaws goes for the call-off, sacrificing the jam. Let's see what we've got. 2-0 there in favor of the Hellbenders. Scoreless jam for the Nightmares. They're still stuck at the 2-point mark. Happy Valley Hellbenders with 10 points on the board. Now starting our third jam, number 2, Zora out there taking on number 525, Liz. Anya Zora now coming to us from Pittsburgh. And Zora's lead, making this 3 leads back-to-back for the Hellbenders. Now Zora coming in for some points. Zora making her way past Underbottom, getting a block by Zoflake and goes out of bounds. Zora stays out of bounds, signals that call-off. She does have 4 points, so 4-0 there in favor of Zora and the Hellbenders. Second scoreless jam in a row for the Nittany Nightmares. They're still at 2 points. Hellbenders now at 14. Nittany Nightmares putting out number 22, Swift to take on number 11, Spunky Bruiser, and it is a 5-on-5 jam. Both teams at full strength. Our jam timer Bionic blows the whistle, starting the jam. Swifty stuck to the back of the pack behind that Hellbenders 4 wall. Spunky Bruiser coming out, making this 4 leads back-to-back for the Happy Valley Hellbenders. Spunky Bruiser now completing their first round of 4 points. First scoring pass completed. Now here comes Spunky on a second round of points. Spunky Bruiser now coming out, completing a second scoring pass, making this an 8-point jam, and that jam is called off. If you are the lead jammer, you have the privilege of calling off the jam before the 2-minute clock has expired by placing your hands on your hips. So it's going to be a +8 for the Hellbenders now, looking at 22 points. Some official team communication going on here on the bench. We have number 42, Circuit, taking on number 21 from the Hellbenders. This is Hustler. And Hustler coming out with lead, making this 5 leads in a row for the Happy Valley Hellbenders. Nightmare starting this jam, a little bit of a pack advantage. That jam called off and sacrificed. Both teams scoreless. .20 game now, 2-22. Happy Valley Hellbenders with that 20-point lead. Swifty back out on the jammer line. taking on number 2. This is Zora. Swifty trying to find a hole on the outside. She stays in bounds, and Swifty is our lead jammer. First lead in the game here for the Nittany Nightmares. Swifty is in control. Zora getting ahead of Swifty on the track, but Swifty's still our lead jammer. Realizing the threat of having Zora in the pack on a scoring pass, Swifty calls off the jam. This is another scoreless jam for both teams. Coming out the jam now for the Nightmares, number 25, Chemical Restraint, taking on number 26 from the Hellbenders. This is Scar Child. Right off that whistle, Chemical Restraint taking on a bounce, forced to restart this pass. Scar Child in the pack, working against that Nightmares defense at the top of the pack. Looks like Lassassin with some one-on-one blocking. I'm sorry, no, that's not Lassassin. Lassassin working in that 2-wall, and Chemical Restraint is out, making this 2 leads in a row for the Nittany Nightmares. Chemical Restraint coming in on a scoring pass, is taking on a bounce on the inside. Chemical Restraint forces or recycles now, moving to the top of the pack, but Spunky Bruiser working into 2-wall, trying to put a block on Chemical Restraint. Chemical Restraint taking on a bounce. Ace of Blades assisting with that defense. Nightmares finally able to put some points on the board. They've got 3 points in that scoring pass, 4 points on the board by Scar Child, brings the Hellbenders up to 26. Score now, Nightmares 5, Hellbenders 26. Chainsaw is back out there on the jammer line here for the Hellbenders. Number 40, Zoflake with the jammer star for the Nittany Nightmares. And Zoflake working the top of the pack. Zora going in for some one-on-one blocking. Zoflake is out. 3 leads in a row, back-to-back for the Nightmares. Zoflake is in control. And our first power jam of the game. Chainsaw is off on a penalty. This is the Nightmares' chance to recover some of these lost points here in the first few minutes of the game. Zoflake with 4 points now coming in on a second round of points. Zoflake is out, gets past Zora, and has another 4. So far, the highest scoring jam of the game for the Nightmares. Zoflake still on this power jam, coming in for a third round of points. Hellbenders switching to full defense. Zora taking Zoflake out of bounds, and Zoflake calls off the jam. Weren't there 3 scoring passes in that jam? Lassassin out the jam here for the Nightmares. And out the jam, 325 Chainsaws. Chainsaws picking up lead for the Happy Valley Hellbenders. That floor is a little slick there. Our first start pass of the game going over to Circuit. Four to four jam here by both teams. Nightmares up to 11 points. Happy Valley Hellbenders at 34. Swifty now out with the jammer star for the Nightmares for the Hellbenders. This is number 11, Spunky Bruiser. Spunky finding a hole on the outside, and she is out. Spunky Bruiser is our lead jammer. Swifty still stuck on this initial pass behind the Hellbenders defense. Spunky Bruiser pushed out of bounds now, forced to recycle on the scoring pass. Nightmares rolling up with a tripod against Spunky. Here comes Swifty. Swifty taken down by Ace. Hellbenders forming their four wall at the top of the pack. That jam is over. Two to three jam here in favor of the Hellbenders. Hellbenders still in the lead. They're at 37 points. 36 points. Okay, 36 points. Nightmares 13. Lassassin out the jam for the Nightmares. Hustler with the jammer star. Hustler is out with lead, picks up 2 points, and calls off the jam. 3 points there for Hustler. On the line for the Nightmares, this is 525 Lasagna jamming for the Hellbenders. 325 Chainsaws right off that whistle. Chainsaws getting stuck behind that Nightmares defense. Nice defense by Hell on Wheels, taking Lasagna out of bounds to the inside, forcing Lasagna to restart that pass. No lead jammer as of yet. Kitty Black called off on a clockwise penalty, taking a very graceful trip to the box. Now it's going to be a 3-4 pack advantage here in favor of the Hellbenders. Hellbenders now picking up lead. Chainsaws is in control. Gnarly Queen going for some defense against Chainsaws. Chainsaws comes out picking up 3 points and calls off the jam. That's going to be a scoreless jam for the Hellbenders. Scoreless jam for the Nightmares. +3 for the Hellbenders. They're at 42. Nightmares 13. Number 26, Scar Child from the Hellbenders out with lead jammer. Chemical Restraint wearing that jammer star for the Hellbenders. Nightmares on another roll of scoreless jams. You're still at 13, plus 2 for the Hellbenders. They're now at 45. Zoflake out the jam now for the Nightmares. Dental Jam coming out for the first time in the game for the Hellbenders. Dozer bracing a tripod, keeping Zoflake stuck at the bottom of the pack. Swifty taking a trip to the penalty box. That's going to thin things out a little bit here for number 13. That's that Dental Jam. Dental Jam getting some one-on-one blocking by Lozani, but Dental Jam is out with lead jammer. We've got now our first scoring pass of the jam completed. Dental Jam, 4 points and takes a bit of a spill there coming around the track. Dental Jam back up on those skates now, winding up for a second scoring pass. Zoflake still fighting to complete this initial pass. Zoflake with a start pass over to Swifty, but that jam is called off. L'assassin back out on the jammer line here, taking on number 325, Chainsaws. Chainsaws making her way to the top of the pack. We have 2 whistles. That means Chainsaws is lead jammer. Nightmares rolling up with the tripod now, turning into a 4-wall at the bottom of the pack. L'assassin gets some blocking there by Scarred Child. Not lead jammer, but she is out with 4 points. Breaking that run of scoreless jams now. Chainsaws calling off the jam after scoring 4 points herself. Bold Jammers coming out of that jam with 4 points now. Hellbenders 60. Nittany Nightmares at 17. 21 versus 22. Hustler taking on Swifty. Hellbenders with the pack advantage. The Nightmares down 2 blockers in the box. Swifty now meeting all 4 blockers from the Hellbenders team. Chemical Restraint working some defense against Hustler, forcing Hustler to restart this initial pass. No lead jammer as of yet. Nice takeout by Lasagna, taking Hustler out of bounds. Almost had an illegal re-entry there by Circuit. Coming off the track. Swifty coming out with lead jammer. Swifty making her way to the top of the pack. Hellbenders reforming their defense. Now Dozer bracing that tripod. Dozer with some blocking on Swifty, but Swifty is out with 4 points for the Nightmares. And a power jam in progress now as Hustler is on their way to the box. Power jam in the hands of Swifty. Swifty coming up, getting some blocking, taken out of bounds and forced to restart this scoring pass. A little bit of a slick floor out there. We're seeing a lot of skaters with their feet going out underneath them. Swifty out with another 4 points now. 8 points on the board for the Nightmares. Swifty now finishing up the last couple seconds of her power jam. She's in. Craven Equality working the butt position, that tripod, keeping Swifty stuck along with Nancy Drew Blood. 4 whistles, ends the jam. Team timeout called by the Nittany Nightmares. Hey, Scar Derby has a new look. Get excited for a new logo and merchandise. Join us in celebrating the Scar logo's grand send-off as we roll into a new era representing new skaters, volunteers, officials, and memories. Soon-to-be vintage, often loved, and never forgotten merch with our current designs will be available to buy through the end of the year. Straight donations for the Betty Fund will be collected at the merch table. Scar Derby is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and visit scarderby.com for details on recruitment, game schedules, and more. We are still in this timeout here called by the Nittany Nightmares. That rolling whistle ends that team timeout. We are going back to play some more Derby. About 9 minutes left to our first half of the game. Out to jam for the first time for the Nightmares. I'm sorry, this is the Hellbenders. This is number 7, Crystal Brawler. Crystal Brawler is our lead jammer. Coming out to jam for the Nightmares, number 40, Zoflake. And Crystal Brawler is in for some points. Gets up to the top of the pack. Gets some blocking by Thunderbottom, but Crystal Brawler is out with 4 points. Crystal Brawler calling off the jam with 3 more points, making this a 7-4 jam in favor of the Hellbenders. Spunky Bruja now back out, taking on number 42. This is Circuit. Circuit making it through, and Circuit's our lead. Jammer now, Circuit in for some points. Dozer getting in position, working the butt of that tripod. Circuit's in, gets past Dozer, signals the call off halfway through the pack. That's going to be a 2-0 jam in favor of the Nittany Nightmares. They're now at 34. Hellbenders 67. Back to some 5-on-5 derby action. Our penalty box is empty. Chemical Restraint number 25 taking on Chainsaws. Swifty called off on a multiplayer. That's going to thin things out a little bit for our Hellbenders jammer. Thunderbottom taking Chainsaws all the way to the back and forcing Chainsaws to restart that pass. And Chemical Restraint coming out with a lead for the Nittany Nightmares. Chemical Restraint out with 4 points. Nice takedown by Lassassin, taking down Nancy Drew Blood, who received that star pass. Chemical Restraint now still on a second scoring trip, getting some blocking. Chainsaw is now working defense after that star pass. Hell on Wheels taking Chemical Restraint out of bounds. Chemical Restraint calls off the jam. Make sure you join us tonight after the game at our official after-party location. That is at Axman Brewery in Bellefonte, 2042 Axman Road, Suite 125. Back to our jam. We have number 525 Lasagna out there, taken out of bounds by Craven Equality. Crystal Brawler out the jam for the Nightmare for the Hellbenders, and Crystal Brawler is our lead jammer. Lasagna is still stuck in the pack. Crystal Brawler out. She's got the first 4 points of the jam now. Crystal Brawler working on a second trip. Gnarly Quinn stepping in to put a slowdown on Crystal Brawler. Crystal Brawler is taken down, and she calls off the jam. Counting down the minutes to our first half of the game. About 3 minutes to go. We are still doing those raffle tickets. We will pull the winner here at halftime. We have number 22 Swifty out there taking on Scar Child. And that whistle starts the action. Penalty box is clear. It is some 5-on-5 derby. Nightmares walling up, keeping Scar Child stuck at the bottom of the pack. Nice defense by Lassassin and Circuit. 2 whistles mean Swifty is lead jammer. Star pass over to Spunky Bruiser. Swifty on a scoring pass. She calls off the jam. Swifty with 3 points, 2 points there by Spunky Bruiser, bringing us to a score of Nittany Nightmares 44, Hellbenders 76. Zoflake now out the jam for the Nightmares. Coming out the jam for the first time today, for the Hellbenders, number 04, Hell on Wheels. Hell on Wheels making quick work the initial pass, and she is our lead jammer. And it looks like Zoflake is going to be called off on a penalty. So this is a power jam now in the hands of Hell on Wheels. Narlequin with some one-on-one blocking against Hell on Wheels, but she's out with the first 4 points of the jam. Nightmares taking a break here, calling for an official review as we count down the seconds to our first half of the game. We'd like to give a thank you to Badger and Hound for being the Penalty Box sponsor today. Badger and Hound is a barber located at 105 South Pew Street right here in State College. Voted best barbershop in State College for 2 years running. We like to think that what we've built is more than your typical barbershop. We put every effort into creating an experience that our customers enjoy from the moment they step foot in the shop. Slick haircuts, flawless fades, smooth shaves, and killer products are a given. It's everything else that makes our shop a memorable experience. Still in this official review called by the Nightmares. Each team has the ability to call a review to question something to the officials, be it a penalty or points. The officials now are talking about the review. Once there is a ruling, we will continue on with the game. We are still doing these 50-50 raffle tickets. We will be pulling this at the start of halftime, so just a moment or two left to get your 50-50 tickets. You can be the sponsor of a game, the Penalty Box, or the Jammer Line. Sponsorship packets are available at the merch table. Pick one up today to learn more about how you can support Scar Derby. Coming out of this official review with just about a minute left to our first half of the game, Chainsaws is out there on a power start for the Hellbenders. Zoflake finishing time in the box. Chainsaws is our lead jammer. Zoflake out of the pack, but Chainsaw is picking up lead. Chainsaw is now up to score some points. Chainsaw is taken down. Zoflake comes in to score some points. Chainsaw calls off the jam. 1-0 there in favor of the Nightmares. And that rolling whistle ends our first half of the game and puts us into halftime. So we're going to take a short break. You may still have a minute or so yet until we go. All right, moving into our second half of the game. I have a special shout out here. This goes to our very own number 17, Slam Andreas Fall. This is Slam's first game. Dozer out the jam, coming to us from the Pittsburgh Undead, taking on number 40, Zoflake. Dozer is our lead jammer. We've got some jammer on jammer action, though. Zoflake trying to catch up to Dozer, so our jammers are on a foot race. Zoflake overtaking Dozer, getting a headless hecked out of bounds by Chainsaws. Now Chemical Restraint doing some one-on-one blocking on Dozer. Zoflake staying in bounds, comes out with 4 points. Dozer taken down, recovers up on his skates now, gets some blocking by Swifty. Nice toe slap work by Dozer. He gets past Swifty, and he's got 4 points himself. Dozer coming in, laying some blocking on Zoflake. Zoflake taken out, forced to recycle. Nice reform by Zora, making her way to the top of the pack. Dozer overtaking Zoflake. The Bull Jammers are out with 4 points. Dozer coming in, trying to find a hole on the outside. Gets past Chemical Restraint. Looks like Zoflake takes a spill there on the track. Dozer's out with another 4. And Zoflake ultimately called off on a low blocking penalty, so Dozer now on a power jam. Nice defense by Swifty, taking Dozer out of bounds to the outside. Dozer signals the call off, ends the jam. .14 jam there by Dozer, bringing the Hellbenders now up to 93. The +8 for the Nightmares, they're at 53, so looking at a 40-point game. Crystal Brawler out there with the Jammer Star next for the Hellbenders, and Zoflake starting the jam in the box, so it's going to be a Power Star in the hands of Crystal Brawler. That whistle starts the jam. Thunderbottom bracing that tripod at the top of the pack along with Gnarly Quinn. Crystal Brawler stuck, making her way around that wall, and Crystal Brawler coming out with a Hellbenders lead. Zoflake still in the box. Crystal Brawler now on her first scoring pass, gets out of the pack. L'assassin putting a slowdown on Crystal Brawler, getting joined by Gnarly Quinn. They're trying the wall up. Crystal Brawler, though, taking on L'assassin one-on-one. L'assassin letting Crystal Brawler go. Crystal Brawler's out with 4 points. Zoflake in from that earlier low block, completing her initial pass. So both jammers in point scoring positions. Here comes Crystal Brawler on a second round of points. Zoflake is in, finds some speed at the bottom of the pack, catches up, but that jam is called off. One more point on the board there. I believe a 5-point jam for Crystal Brawler, +2 for Zoflake. Coming out the jam on her first game ever as a skater. This is number 17, Slam Andreas Fall. Taking on number 11 from the Hellbenders. This is Spunky Bruiser. And Spunky coming out with lead. Jammer for the Hellbenders. Slam Andreas Fall passing that star over to Swifty. Spunky Bruiser coming out with the first 4 points of the jam. Swifty now in for some points. Swifty working on a two-wall. Ace and Zora walling up against Swifty at the top of the pack. Ace putting some blocking on Swifty, but Swifty is out with 4. Spunky Bruiser comes out of the pack with another 4 points, calls off the action. 8-4 jam here in favor of the Hellbenders. Hellbenders now at 100 points, and Nittany Nightmares at 59. Three to 4 pack here in favor of the Nightmares. We've got number 42 Circuit taking on 26. This is Scar Child. Right off the whistle, those Nightmares blockers forming a tripod held up by Thunderbottom against Scar Child, keeping Scar Child stuck at the bottom of the pack. Circuit finds a hole on the inside, stays in bounds, and Circuit picking up lead. Scarchild now out of the pack. Circuit completing an initial pass. Circuit's got 4 points, and he calls off the jam, keeping Scarchild from scoring. So 4-0 there in favor of the Nightmares. Coming out next, it's a 5-on-5 jam. Zora out there taking on Liz Anya. Zora, Scar alumni, taken on a bounce by Swifty and forced to recycle. Zora now coming to us from the Pittsburgh Undead is taken out by Zoflake. Zora meeting some defense on this initial pass, but she gets ahead. Zora's out, and she is our lead jammer. Now Zora's in for some points. Zora gets past Zoflake, crashing in the pack. Lizani is out. Zora's got 4 points, completing her first initial pass, and she taps her hips, calling off the jam. Our penalty box clear for our next jam. This will be 5-on-5. Lassassin out there versus Dental Jam. Lassassin getting some blocking by Dozer on the inside line. Dental Jam making their way to the top of the pack, but Thunderbottom stepping in with Kitty Black walling up to keep that jammer in the pack. Now Thunderbottom doing some one-on-one blocking. Thunderbottom goes out of play. That means that Dental Jam picks up lead by default. Let's ask with that star pass over to Thunderbottom. Dental Jam calling off the jam. Scoreless jam by Thunderbottom. +3 there for Dental Jam. Give that at least a 7. Maybe give that an 8. I don't know. That had some good depth to it. Swifty out there now taking on Chainsaws. And Chainsaws making her way out of the pack. Chainsaws picking up lead for the Hellbenders. Now those Nightmares blockers rolling up the bottom of the pack against Chainsaws. Chainsaws trying to find the weak spot in that 4-wall. Meanwhile, Swifty is out. Swifty, though, not lead. Chainsaws calling off the jam. So Chainsaws does have 4 on that call-off. Swifty was scoreless. So 4-0 for the Hellbenders in that jam. They're at 115, Nightmares 63. We are looking at number 21, Hustler out there taking number 22, Swifty. And Hustler making quick work that initial pass. Hustler is out. Swifty still stuck behind the Hellbenders defense. By Furious and Dozer working the butts of that tripod against Swifty. Swifty's taken down. Now Hustler is called off on a track cut, so no chance for a call-off. We're going to have a 2-minute jam. Swifty with that star pass. Now over to Gnarly Quinn. Gnarly on this power jam here for the Nightmares. Comes in to score some points. Now Gnarly cannot call off the jam. She's got to go for the full 2 minutes. Dozer stepping in to put a slowdown on Gnarly, and it's effective. Dozer guarding the inside line. Nancy Drew Blood joining in there along with Zora to keep Gnarly stuck in the pack. Down some 1-on-1 blocking. Nancy Drew Blood makes some last-minute blocking, and a track cut is assessed to Gnarly Quinn. So Gnarly now will sit in the box. Once again, no chance for a call-off. Thunderbottom and Swifty trying to close up the hole on the outside. Hustler with an incomplete scoring pass, picking up only 3 points. Once again, no chance for a call-off. We must go for the full 2 minutes because lead jammer was lost. Hustler is in. Thunderbottom and Swifty walling up in a 2-wall against Hustler at the top of the pack. Kitty Black joining in, trying to stretch that pack out. Gnarly Quinn finishes her time in the box. Everybody back on the track. Swifty with that one-on-one blocking once again, but Hustler is out with a hard-earned 4 points. Two minutes has expired. Hellbender's picking up 8 points on that jam. They're at 126. Nitty Nightmares, they're at 64 with about 17 minutes left to our game. Spunky Bruiser out there. I'm sorry, Spunky Bruiser taking on number 17. This is Slam Andreas Fall. Working a pretty tight pack off that whistle. That pack closing in on those jammers. Spunky Bruiser taken out and recycled by Zoflake. Slam Andreas Fall working to the top of the pack. Nightmares with a nice fluid 4-wall. No lead jammer as of yet. It looks like Slam Andreas Fall is fighting for that lead position. Oh, Craven Equality and Ace walling up, keeping Slam Andreas Fall stuck on this initial pass. And Slam Andreas Fall called off on a forearm just as she is preparing to pick up lead. So she loses her lead jammer ability and will go to the penalty box. Lead jammer still available here for Spunky Bruiser. Lasagna, though, keeping Spunky stuck on the outside line, taking Spunky out of bounds. So Spunky's going to have to recycle to the back of the pack. Slam Andreas Fall getting ready to come back in the pack. Now, either jammer can score points. We do not have a lead jammer yet. Neither one has completed their initial pass. Slam Andreas Fall with a star pass over to Circuit.
Oh, no star pass, Black. No, they dropped it, he picked it up.
Incomplete star pass. That star pass is restarted, but that takes us to the end of the 2 minutes. No initial pass completed by either of our jammers, so that jam will be scoreless. Nightmare 64, Hellbenders 126. Dental Jam back out there to take on number 25. This is Chemical Restraint. And that whistle starts the jam. 5-on-5 derby action. Penalty box is clear. Crystal Brawler working some defense, taking Chemical Restraint out of bounds, forcing the recycle. Dental Jam called off on a penalty, losing the ability for lead jammer. Chemical Restraint still able to pick up lead if she can get through. Kitty Black called off on a track cut. No chance for lead jammer now. We're going to have another 2-minute jam. Dental Jam finishing their time in the box, coming back into the game. Conditions in this jam are such that we cannot have a lead jammer. Dental Jam finishing time in the box, comes back in, tries to finish their initial pass, but is taken down by Thunderbottom. Thunderbottom forcing Dental Jam all the way to the back to restart this pass. We have a star pass now over to Swifty. And a forearm called on Dental Jam to put Dental Jam in the box. Swifty receiving that star pass finishes her initial pass. So Swifty now on a power jam with no chance for a call-off. "19 seconds left to go. Swifty in for some points. Swifty making nice toe stop work on the inside line, picking up 4 points for the Nittany Nightmares. Swifty now on a second round of points. That jam times out just as she is within the pack. Scoreless jam here for the Hellbenders and a 4-point jam for the Nightmares. Our next jam tonight, number 9, Dozer, out there taking on 525. This is Lasagna. Dozer coming to us from the Pittsburgh Undead MRDA team in Pittsburgh and coach of the juniors team. That's the Pittsburgh Derby Brats. He is still on his initial pass. 2 whistles means Dozer is our lead jammer. Hustler taking Lasagna out of bounds on the inside. Now Lasagna taken down and forced out of bounds. Forced to restart this pass. Dozer in to score some points. Gets past Circuit. Now taking on Zoflake. Dozer coming out with 4 points for the Happy Valley Hellbenders. Dozer picking up 3 points on that scoring pass. 7-point jam altogether. Hellbenders at 133, Nightmares at 68. Dozer in the box from a penalty late in the last jam will put Swifty out on a power start, and Swifty is out. She is our lead jammer. Swifty still on this power jam, coming in for her first scoring trip. She is in. Spunky Bruiser and Zora working some defense. Swifty is out, though, with 4 points for the Nightmares. Dozer coming in from that penalty late in the last jam, finishes his initial pass, and he's also out now with 4 points. Swifty taken back in the pack, trying to fight to get her way out. Hellbenders calling for a team timeout. We're going to take a 1-minute break. like to give some love to our officials for the game. Once again, we have Dash, Filet Official, General Relativity, Trampling Bias, Strong Female Antagonist, Tempest, Draft. Now, we've also got Jam Burglar, Ginger Ninja, Duchess Skyla, Stonewall, Rude Boy, Brace, Bionic Bee, Registered Curse, and Anya Arson, our wonderful A1 team of officials making this game possible. Our EMTs, of course, Pappy, Stacey Adams, and our photographer, Nitty Gritty Photography, also here taking pictures of our Derby moments today. That team timeout coming to an end with about 8.5 minutes left on the clock. Chainsaw is out there taking on L'assassin. 3-4 pack here in favor of the Hellbenders. That whistle starts the action. Scar Child taking L'assassin out of bounds on the inside. L'assassin recycles. Chainsaw is coming out with lead for the Happy Valley Hellbenders. Nice toe-stop work by Chainsaws, getting around Gnarly Quinn. That jam is called off. Hustler out there now taking number 42, Circuit. Circuit getting some blocking behind the Hellbender's wall. Circuit finds some speed, and he's out with lead. Jammer. Hustler taking out of bounds, forced to recycle here behind Craven Equality with that rollback on Circuit. Circuit comes back in, and Hustler is called off on a penalty, so it's a power jam in the hands of Circuit. Circuit's in, meeting some defense by Craven, and once again, Circuit takes a spill on the track. Now Ace and Zora walling up. Nightmares now looking at 75 points. Hellbenders 141. That jam is over. Hustler stuck in the box to start this jam. L'assassin out on a power start for the Nightmares. Dozier taking L'assassin out of bounds on the outside, forcing her to restart this pass. Both jammers able to pick up lead. Gnarly working some defense there against Hustler. Hustler is out with lead. Gnarly working some defense. Once again, a Hustler. Hustler working her way to the top of the pack. Now Thunderbottom steps in. Craven Equality stepping in bounds, stepping up to the front as well to put some defense on Hustler. L'assassin is out. Hustler calls off the jam. L'assassin scoreless on that jam. Hustler with 4 points. 5-on-5 jam. Our penalty box is clear. Both teams at full strength. We have Zoflake out there taking on Chainsaws. It is very close. We are jammer on jammer. Zoflake picking up lead for the Nittany Nightmares. Our jammers on a foot race now through the pack on their scoring passes. Zoflake catching up, taken on a bounce by Zora. Zora with a rollback on Zoflake, and Zoflake calls it off with 3 points to show. Three and a half minutes left to our game. Swifty taking on Scarred Child. Another 5-on-5 jam. Hellbenders with a fluid four-wall at the bottom of the pack. Dozer and Craven stepping in to put a slowdown on Swifty. Swifty now taking on Dozer one-on-one. Swifty makes her way to the top of the pack, gets past Thunderbottom, and Swifty is our lead jammer. Swifty making quick work of that scoring pass. She's got 4 points behind her now. Dozer receiving that star pass. Swifty in for another round of points. Swifty is in, is pushed to the outside, steps to the inside. Nice work, stays on the line, stays in bounds. Passes all 4 blockers. That means she has 4 points, and she calls off the jam. Little jammer on jammer love there by Crystal Brawler and Lizania. Penalty box clear once again, so this is another 5-on-5 jam. Our jam timer Bionic making the 5-second call, and she blows the whistle. That starts the action. Right off the whistle, those Hellbenders walling up. Zora and Ace working the butt of positions of that tripod, keeping Lizania stuck at the bottom of the pack. Crystal Brawler called off on a penalty, so that's going to cost her the chance for a lead, handing a power jam over to Lizania. Lizania getting the full brunt of that Hellbenders defense. Lizania still stuck on this initial pass. Zora taking Lizania down on the inside. Nice switch to defense by the Hellbenders blockers. Lizania recycles to the back. Ace guards the inside line, taking Lizania down once again, putting a stop on Lizania's chance for getting lead. Crystal Brawler coming in from the earlier penalty, not able to pick up lead, and is still on this initial pass. Crystal avoiding that block by Circuit, completing her initial pass. Now she can score some points, but she is not lead jammer. Now looking at a 2-minute jam with that star pass over to Kitty Black. And both jammers are out. Crystal Brawler with 4 points. Kitty Black receiving that star pass, completing their initial. Now both jammers in for some point scoring action. Neither one can call off the jam. Crystal Brawler is taken down, and she takes a spill. Tries to tap her hips, but is not lead jammer. That brings us to the end of the game and a tentative unofficial score. Nittany Nightmares 90, Hellbenders 152. We'll give our officials a moment to count the points and make sure all the math looks good, and we will bring you an official final score for today.